You've seen it before.
Hey, what are you doing?
I want to sit here.
Someone being a jerk on the bus and causing trouble.
Oh!
Not caring one bit about anyone else's feelings.
It's enough to make you wish that buses came equipped with on and off remotes to use in case of emergency.
Billy, stop. Billy, stop it. Stop it! On. Off. Whoa, what happened? Wait. Oh, man.
Nice idea, but this is purely fantasy.
Something very similar can in fact happen if you keep misbehaving on the bus.
Hey, where's Billy?
He broke the rules and got suspended off the bus.
Oh, man.
Check it out. We're hoping none of you out there act like the students in the previous video, because we're here to warn you that Montgomery County Public Schools are cracking down on misbehavior on school buses.
This year, school principals are working closely with bus drivers to enforce the rules and get tough on misconduct.
It's a big deal, and it can happen like this. You break the rules, the bus driver reports you to the principal calls your parents, and you get busted.
Now, let's set the record straight. Riding the bus to and from school each day is a privilege, not a right.
Yeah, when our nation's forefathers wrote the Constitution, they didn't write freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and freedom to ride the school bus every day.
Riding the school bus is a privilege that can be taken away.
People throwing stuff out of the windows. I've actually experienced people pushing me in the seats.
One time I saw two people fighting and one person hit the other guy's head and it broke the glass window.
I've seen kids get in fights with hardback books.
I've had people call me a lot of names on the bus.
So what are the rules on the bus? Class in session. Bus rule number 1, school rules equal bus rules. Plain and simple, all the common sense rules you follow in school also apply to the bus. Rules like be respectful of others, keep your hands to yourself, and don't use obscene language or gestures.
In other words, be nice and be smart. Ride by the rules.
Bus rule number 2, cooperate with the driver. The driver is the person in charge on the bus.
You should follow your bus driver's instructions just as you would a teacher's. This is important for your safety and to keep peace on the bus.
We have a lot of kids standing up, we have a lot of clowning around, we have a lot of fights.
Hanging out windows, climbing over seats, standing up.
Standing up, throwing trash, and talking too loud on the bus.
They also occasionally like to throw a bottle or some other kind of debris out the window of the bus, which is definitely against the rules and can create some serious safety issues.
It's always important to stay seated, because if you're standing up or whatever and something happens and you fall, you could get hurt very easily. I usually stop the bus, secure the bus, sit there as long as it takes for them to learn that they've got to abide by the rules or we don't move the buses. Don't hang your hands and your head out the window. That is very unsafe. So it's very important that they learn the rules and stick with the rules, because in this way no one gets hurt and everybody, gets a safe ride to and from school.
They should, abide by the rules.
So let's go over some of the other do's and don'ts when riding the school bus. I call this next lesson how not to act on the bus. Let's hope none of you out there recognize yourselves in this video, but if you do, pay attention. Roll tape.
Stay seated while the bus is moving. Make room for others to sit as well.
Keep the aisle and emergency door clear of obstructions.
Keep your arms, feet, and head inside the bus at all times, and never throw anything out the window.
Don't damage or deface any part of the bus, and only discard trash where it belongs.
Don't smoke, drink, eat, or play radios.
Don't ride a different bus other than the one you've been assigned to, unless you have written permission from your parent and permission from the principal.
Never bring prohibited materials on the bus, such as animals, alcohol, tobacco, drugs, weapons, glass containers, and explosives.
Don't engage in any violent behavior or sexual harassment. These violations can be considered a criminal offense and may be punishable by law.
Now, what exactly do we mean when we say sexual harassment?
As defined in Montgomery County Public Schools policy, sexual harassment is unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, or other inappropriate verbal, written, or physical conduct of a sexual nature.
In other words, sexual harassment is any unwelcome behavior of a sexual nature. Got that?
So what if you feel you're just fooling around, having fun? How do you know if you're sexually harassing someone?
One way to know that you have crossed the line is when the person gets uncomfortable and demands that you stop the behavior.
But sometimes a person feels too scared or intimidated to speak up. Just because nothing is said doesn't mean it's okay. Remember, when it comes to sexual harassment, it's really about impact on the target, or the person being harassed, not the harasser's intention.
So it's not about whether the harasser intends any harm or is just kidding around. It's about the harasser's impact on the person being harassed. If he or she feels uncomfortable, scared, or threatened by the behavior, then the behavior needs to stop. Your safest bet? Just don't do it.
You know, sexual harassment is really just one form of bullying.
I remember being bullied on the bus. I felt really threatened.
I remember a time when bullies made my life so miserable that I told my mom if I had to ride the school bus to school, I just wouldn't even go to school.
At one time or another, you yourself may have bullied someone. You might have even said to yourself, all my friends are doing it, so I just joined in. Or everybody bullies, it's normal.
Or how about this excuse? They deserved it.
Bullying behavior is never acceptable. It's cruel and abusive.
No one deserves to be bullied, ever.
So here's a little test to see if your actions are inappropriate. Imagine your behavior is being watched by everyone in America.
Would you still act the same way?
Billy, stop. Billy, stop it. Stop it!
Well, judges, what did you think of Billy's performance?
Billy. Sexual harassment? You in big trouble, dude.
I am so ashamed of you, Billy. Can't you see you're hurting her feelings? You brought a tear to my eye.
Absolutely horrendous. Billy, that was an appalling performance. Wait till I get you home, young man.
All right, well, if you'd like to let us know what you thought of Billy's behavior, dial 555 not nice. That's 555-NOT.
All right, I get the point. Emily, I'm sorry. I won't do it again.
So remember, if you refuse to ride by the rules, there will be consequences. There's a good chance you will end up in the principal's office, your parents will be contacted, and you may be suspended or even expelled.
And if you see someone break the rules, don't be afraid to report them to your bus driver or school administrator, especially if their misbehavior threatens the safety and health of other people.
You are entitled to a safe and orderly bus ride. Don't let it be taken over by people who don't ride by the rules.
Class dismissed.